Hello again, and welcome to the eighth episode, Harry, of Smarks Without Attitude. This episode we will cover No Mercy 2017, but before we get into that, just a quick small tribute to possibly the greatest colour commentator, and certainly in my opinion the greatest manager of all time. Bobby Heenan passed away, and this is incredibly sad and awful. He was suffering for quite a many years, so maybe there's some comfort in that he's no longer suffering. But yes, Harry, Bobby Heenan. What's your favourite memory of Bobby Heenan?
Mine is probably one of my earliest ones when I was watching Nitro, and it's where Goldberg wins the world title from Hogan.
He totally makes that moment, actually, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. That's one of my... Even though it's quite the polar opposite of what Heenan represented in the Hulkamania era, where he's like a proper heel. Here he was like really selling that Goldberg's achievement was such a massive accolade. He literally, I mean, you can hear him saying he's the first undefeated man in the history of this sport to win the title.
Yeah, I remember hearing Meltzer on one of the Observer radios last week talking about how Heenan knew the business so well that he knew that he could help Goldberg get really over by doing that kind of commentary. So that's why he did it in that fashion, and that's why he was so good.
He probably knew that Goldberg was the future of that company.
Exactly that, yeah.
Compared to everybody else, so he had to put him over, and fair dues to him, he did make it seem like a massive deal. I mean, there's obviously tons of things backstage and stuff about the circumstances of that match, but the commentary is fantastic.
To use the diamond cutter, and look at Goldberg, he's ready! He's poised! Okay, there's part one. Now finish him off! Finish him off! He's calling for it! This is it! This is it! Your career's on the line here! Do it! Do it! This place will erupt when he picks him up. He's got him up! Oh, hell yeah! 1, 2, 3! Thank you! We've got a new heavyweight champion of the world! The first undefeated man in the history of this sport to ever win the world championship and have a record of 107, 108. Who cares? There's zero on the other side. We've got a new champion. Listen to this.
I'd have to go with Royal Rumble 1992 with Flair for the Gold. When he basically just calls a one-man rumble himself, all for Flair. And obviously when Flair dumps out Sid at the end and he just shouts yes over and over again.
Predating Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, and it's like when Flair does his promo as well, and he's just kind of in the background with him. And yeah, I thought that was awesome. He he couldn't work with Flair properly because he had a bad back, so he couldn't do any bumping like as his manager. He wanted to be his manager, but he couldn't really do it because he couldn't take any bumps, like a heel manager would by then. So that's why Perfect was put in place, according to Meltzer anyway. So obviously him getting Flair over was just doing this absolute GOAT commentary for the Rumble.
Okay, who's number 4? There goes the buzzer! No! Oh, yes! Damn it! It's Ric Flair! I don't like the looks of things now. There are no friends! There are no friends! Only enemies! Oh, is Hulk upset? He said, "You've stolen my belt!" What the? Hey, look at this! Hulkster holding on, trying to pull him out! It's Flair from behind! Oh, yes! 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 Flair did it! Yes! 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 He did it! I told you so! I told you so! I told you! I told you! Yes! 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 I told you! I told you! Did it! I don't believe it! He did it!
So yeah, just a little tribute to Bobby the Brain Heenan there. And now we move on to No Mercy 2017. This time a Raw exclusive pay-per-view. initial thoughts on this pay-per-view, Harry?
Overall, pretty good, but bookended by pretty substandard matches.
Yeah, I thought it was going along quite nicely until the last, say, third of the show.
Yeah, You could, I'm guarantee you're going to have the exact same point where you thought the show started to lose a bit of its momentum.
Yeah, certainly, and I don't think it was anything really to do with the performers. I think it was mostly due to odd booking decisions, but we'll get into that. Don't worry.
Yeah.
So yeah, No Mercy, Raw pay-per-view, and as always, we start off with your main segment, Harry, the pre-show.
Yay, my bit. I was going to ask you as well. Does it feel like it's been forever since like the last? I mean, obviously it's our last episode, but obviously the last pay-per-view, which was SummerSlam.
Yeah, I suppose it does. I mean, what are we? Nearly at the end of September. We haven't done a show for about a month, 3 weeks, a month. Yeah.
I was going to make a point. I feel like we've been conditioned to like expect pay-per-views now every fortnight. Yet we've had this month-long gap, which is what we've always had, and it feels like fucking forever. So, fair dues to the WWE for they've only changed their booking format for about a year or so, but now I'm like ravenous for some sort of pay-per-view because I expect it. Even though I'll probably be the first one to complain that it's like overly congested their pay-per-view calendar. So,
I guess
that's my first point.
Is it not because they don't want to have too many pay-per-views before and after SummerSlam? Because SummerSlam is kind of, obviously it's not WrestleMania level, but it's not that far off these days, really.
Yeah, I mean, it is WrestleMania this summer, but that brings us to another point. First thing they do is throw to Charlie Caruso. I didn't make mention of this last episode just because I forgot, but she's like a bit of an android teacher. Compared to Renee, she's not really much a cop. She questions whether it's WrestleMania season, and little did I know that there would literally be a drinking game on this pay-per-view where every time they mention WrestleMania caliber match or along those lines, take a shot because you'll die.
Yeah, they
literally
do say that a lot.
Braun cuts an 80s style promo in a dark room with pipes, says he'll beat Brock, not much to it.
Cool.
Angle arrives and says it feels like WrestleMania, unless we're in 1997, it fucking isn't. He's on the panel, by the way, in the broadcast panel. Sam asks Angle whether he saw Cena as his replacement, and he says yes, but when he's asked who he wants to win between him and Roman, he struggles with an answer. So I thought he surely would have picked Cena because it was his successor.
Yeah.
Miz comes out to save this. He nearly causes Angle to corpse, and I was like, literally send for the man. I'm sure Matthew will pick it up.
Yep.
We get a backstage promo with Neville, which is he just says he's going to batter Enzo. He reminds me a lot of Barrett, not because they're both British, but just because of his demeanour.
Yeah.
It's announced on pre-show that Asuka is making her debut on TLC or at the TLC.
Does that seem a little bit underwhelming to you? I know it's obviously if she wasn't injured, she probably wouldn't have left NXT. They probably would have waited till maybe Rumble or even WrestleMania. I've got a feeling that the injury made them just think, you know what, let's just do it.
Part of me, yes, but I think what they can do is they can bring her in for TLC, have her win the title very quickly, and then have like a massive main event where it's like she's still undefeated and now she's the Raw Women's Champion and she goes against someone where it's like everything's on the line.
Yeah,
it's obvious booking, so it probably will be that, but you never know. There's a social media lounge with Alexa Bliss. The only question of note was a fan asking her to marry him, and she was like, that's really sweet. No. And I was like, good girl.
Yeah.
We have another Elias gig. I know you love these. It was actually quite a good song, to be fair.
Well, maybe. I'll take your word for it. I can't watch it.
Can't you? Is it because bad music or because it's a bad idea?
Bad music, and I tend to just really dislike when people perform in the ring. Like acoustic guitar sitting in the ring performing. I just think it looks stupid. And yes, I do include the Rock's rendition of whatever that song was when he did it that time. I don't know whether it's just a personal thing. I'm not actually a big fan of music being performed on wrestling shows in general, because usually most bands that ever do anything on a wrestling show is shit, and they're usually awful acts as well. So yeah.
I was going to say as well that the song actually went over quite well with the crowd. They did start to cheer him, and there were some people in commentary that were starting to cack it because he said he felt like he was in hell, which was quite funny with LA
but isn't his music supposed to be like heelish against the town?
It is. So part of me thinks, fair dues, he's actually getting heat from yourself because you can't stand it. You think it's stupid. But on the other hand, his songs are quite entertaining. So it's like, it's the opposite way. You shouldn't do that.
Mm.
This, of course, leads to him singing that Apollo is boring. And we get to our pre-show. What can I pick? Oh, I know. Hulk Hogan's Pastamania's main event on pre-show is Elias versus Apollo Crews. Now, all my first notes are, remember Apollo being liked? Remember standing splashes?
I remember.
Remember him facing Finn?
Remember Apollo Crews on the indie scene?
I remember. Remember Uha Nation? I remember.
Just to be clear, what was the actual sponsor of the pre-show?
It is Hulk Hogan's Pastamania.
It is?
Yeah. Oh, no, it's... well, you mean realistically?
No, what's the actual... Pastamania hasn't been around for years.
But it's probably just abandoned. It's Little Caesars Pizza.
Oh, yeah, of course. They didn't stop going on about Little Caesars.
You know, the type of pizza that gives you gas?
Little Caesars is dreadful.
We don't have it in the UK, do we?
No, but I've been to North America enough to know that it's dog shit.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, Little Caesars, if you want a cross promotion, we're ready. Available.
It's not good pizza. Right. Anyway, we digress. Please.
Yeah, we digress. It's pre-show main event. Cole gets another mention of WrestleMania, so get your spirits, folks. And then I was like, really, regretted doing that. Slow start. Apollo with headlocks. Then it picks up speed. Then it's headlocks. This is the match, folks. Bit of action for 30 seconds, then we get a chin lock. Bit more action, we get a headlock. Apollo, towards the end, hits a standing SSP, which I think is me saying shooting star press, which is a good move for a 2. But then Booker, for the entire night, becomes like the logical heel. And he says, why did Apollo spend 15 seconds setting up one move when he could have done multiple ones? And Cole tries to save it by saying Apollo's tired, which makes little sense because he's doing it. Out of nowhere, Elias hits the drift away for a 3. I'd rate this 3.5 chin locks out of 5, or it's an okay match, nothing special. It literally is a case of them doing their spots, taking a break, doing a few more spots, taking a break. It's basic as fuck, but at least it wasn't as bad as one other match on this main show.
I see.
And one final segment, which is Heyman again. It's nothing major compared to SummerSlam. He basically says Brock is the underdog, which...
He certainly is not.
He's not.
I've got a note to say that later, but yeah. Okay, pre-show. Cool. Sounds... That was pre-show. Again, doesn't sound like anything that makes me ever want to watch pre-show, so...
Needs more HBK dressed up as Colonel
No,
Sanders.
It fucking does not. And again, I thank you for watching that so that I don't have to.
That's alright. Did you like the snake lady on the opening promo?
Don't know if I saw that.
It's a lady who sounds like "Sell against the land."
Oh, right, yeah.
She's been around for about 20 years. Sorry, I just always call her Snake Lady. She was on Unforgiven 99, if I remember.
That is some kind of fucking memory you've got there.
But, yeah, Snake Lady promo. Did you like the opening package?
It was decent. I mean, not being funny, WWE and video packages, it's rarely bad.
Yeah, that is their bread and butter. They are good at the old post-production side. I just thought it was a nice little throwback.
Do you ever, when bored or when on YouTube just browsing, go and find some of your favourite old video packages?
I do sometimes, yeah.
I haven't done it for a long time, but there was a time when I used to watch the Daniel Bryan Triple H WrestleMania 30 clip, the monster one.
Yeah. That is a good one.
Fucking unreal. And also, obviously, the greatest of all time, possibly, the My Way WrestleMania 17.
Yeah, Jesus.
That was,
I think that,
yeah.
That caused Limp Bizkit to sell a lot of CDs, myself included.
Fuck yeah, big time. Right then.
Anyway.
So, No Mercy, main card. Show opens with The Miz against Jason Jordan, otherwise known as My Black Son.
My black son. My black son. And he's also a ninja or something.
Also, he's a ninja. Anyway,
sorry.
I waited I waited when that whole storyline was done, and I was like, it's going to be on YouTube any second. And it was, Monday Night Raw. I think someone uploaded the video of My Black Sun with Jason Jordan and Kurt Angle in like a matter of minutes. Oh yeah, it is. It's fucking brilliant. Right, so The Miz, Jason Jordan, IC title match, and The Miz come out with The Miz Taraj, Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel. Got a fairly decent response, I thought, whereas Jason Jordan entered the arena to absolute fucking crickets.
I think that's doing it a disservice.
It was
negative
awful
reception.
It
doesn't help that Miz is technically hometown hero as well.
Yeah, and this is just going down like an absolute turd sandwich. It's terrible. So, yeah, he enters the crickets. He gets some Who's Your Daddy chants as well.
Yeah, but they try and spin it to say that's for Miz because of his unborn child. And it's like, no, it's fucking not.
Yeah, it's not. Jordan's pretty good, like, wrestling-wise.
He's great. He really is good.
Like, his character and interactions with the crowd are fucking bland as fuck. He hasn't really got much going for him. And he hasn't really got a character. I mean, it's just a bit odd at the moment.
He's literally just... It's Kurt's son. That's all there is. But he has nothing to show for it as such.
Yeah.
The only thing... I mean, his saving grace is he's a fantastic wrestler. He's good at the suplexes.
His suplexes are so good, yeah.
And he does have the facial expressions as well, which can actually go quite a long way. But this match was a clash of styles. Miz is obviously quite safe. I know some people say he's quite bland. But I'd say, he can deliver entertaining matches when need be. But...
Yeah.
It was just... What did you think of this match overall?
I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. It wasn't particularly brilliant, but I don't mind The Miz. I quite like The Miz in certain situations. I like The Miz as a promo better than I like The Miz as a wrestler.
I do agree his promos are fantastic, but the fanboy in me wants him to have another world title run just to make amends for the previous one.
I think he deserves a push, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and he keeps doing the stereotypical thing of where he says he's elevating the Intercontinental title, which is bollocks, because no one ever elevates that title.
No.
They can only do so much. But I would like him to be pushed up into the world title scene. But the way things are at the moment on Raw, it's probably best for him to stay away from it at this point.
Yeah. I mean, even on SmackDown, he never got a chance, did he? So...
No, exactly. But back to the original question, yeah, he's a decent wrestler. I think people give him, the short end of the stick and say, he's quite bland. But to be honest, as he says, the reason he's still capable of wrestling is because of this style. And whether you like it or not, this is the bog standard WWE style. So,
yeah, true. Just to finish up the match, Bo Dallas got involved late on. Ref saw it in plain view, not even a hint of a DQ. I think Jordan dispatches of Dallas, and then I think Axel grabs his leg.
Yep.
Leads to a skull-crushing finale. Miz gets the win in 10 minutes, 15 seconds. Then there was a fucking in-ring interview with Jason Jordan. He's getting booed. He's just so bland. You can tell that he's trying quite hard to come across well. He just doesn't. I think he's just a bit green in that respect in terms of like mic work and all that. He needs a lot of work on that. But it's just, he's obviously been told to ignore the crowd and stuff and just say what you've been told to say on your script. And he's like, oh, well, The Miz sucks. I want a rematch. It's like, wow, you just lost to him. You don't deserve a rematch. It was just a bit weird. In-ring interviews after the match I find a bit strange, actually, in wrestling anyway.
I mean, for the bocce side, it's funny when the performers are completely blown up because it's like you're now expected to talk for a few minutes.
Yeah, wrestling's fucking hard work. I mean, I don't know, but
no, I mean, to be fair, he was not out of breath. He just did the promo. The problem is it was bland and he had to keep the script. As you say, there's a bit where he says, this crowd, they always chant at my dad saying he sucks. And I was like, shit, is he going to say well, I'll tell you what, this crowd sucks? I thought, come on.
Oh my God, I thought the same thing. I've got it written down here.
Have you? Yeah.
It wasn't okay. Jordan needs some serious character work. I still don't understand the point of his character or story. Turn him fucking heel. I mean, seriously, I think if you turn him heel, he'd be a heel that everyone would just boo out of the building. And I think it'd be fucking brilliant.
It'd be natural progression because it'd literally be a case of, he can get away with murder because his dad's Kurt Angle and his dad's the Jim, and Angle could have to toe the line between being a respected, GM who's fair to everyone, but he has this bastard of a son who literally will just do anything to win, and as long as he stays in his good graces, he'll get away with murder. I just thought, with this promo, he had to stick to script, as you say, and it's just death because the crowd doesn't give a shit about him. And that really affected this match overall because they don't care for Jordan. Miz is massively over, so you got the topsy-turvy booking where the heel is faced by default. And whilst it's decent, it means nothing. It's just very confusing.
It was. And so that was a fairly okay opener, I thought. We move on to second match on the card. Finn Balor, that's Finn Balor the man and not the demon, because that's the reason for continuing this feud. Finn Balor, Bray Wyatt. This was okay. It was mostly story element, really, in that plucky face, dastardly heel. Because match starts after a very long video package for what I would actually say so far has been a very ordinary feud. And the video package was really long, and I was sitting there thinking, why is this so long? There hasn't actually been enough story to put on a really long video package. And I just thought, okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, Wyatt Pearl Harbored Finn Balor. He busted his ribs, sold the ribs like an absolute champ, I suppose. Got taken out of the arena. Bray called him a coward, so he kind of does the whole, not hulking up, but the whole I'm an angry face, I'm gonna really emote. runs back to the ring, does a few quite strenuous moves, and then Balor's he's no amateur, so he goes back to holding his ribs and stuff. And I thought his selling was actually quite good, all considering. I thought it was a decent match. There were some really good little callbacks to Fit Finlay as well, which I thought was
the opening
stuff. That was cool. I think we mentioned this before, but the spider walk with Bray. When he's I think Balor was on the top rope about to do something, and Bray goes up into his upside down crab thing. His spider walk, and Finn does the whole face, and it's just it's just getting a bit rubbish now.
It went on for about 10 seconds too long, and I blame the production side of it, because they literally obviously our audience are complete fucking idiots, so we have to focus on Finn for 10 seconds while he does his oh my god face, and then we've got to focus on Bray going his oh my god I'm badass face, and then we've got to go back to Finn establish oh my god face, and then he jumps off, I think. Yeah, he did jump off,
daft. I think I saw Finn do a little callback to his old Bullet Club gun salute. Is that a thing he still does, even as Finn Balor?
I think he does it for the setup of the shotgun drop kick, isn't it? Yeah, in the corner. I think that's just pointing. He doesn't actually pull the trigger.
I don't think I've ever noticed him do it before, because obviously that was his. I think he kayfabe invented the Bullet Club, and whole thing. How Omega does it. It's very similar to the way Balor did it as well, but obviously Omega's is a little bit more, let's say, anime than Balor.
I was going to say, literally,
a bit more theatric. Yeah, he did that.
I was going to say Yu-Gi-Oh, but that makes no sense.
But so Bray got a busted mouth at some point. Finn got the win, coup de grace. I quite enjoyed it. I thought it was better than. I thought this was better than a SummerSlam match.
Yeah, I really liked their SummerSlam match, but I thought this was better. I've actually maybe I'm just a sucker for these two, but I've said an awesome showing from these two. Wyatt was at least given some more offense, and Balor played a face in peril well. So
it had a bit more story to it, which I quite enjoy. And it is a paper. I think these pay-per-views are the pay-per-views where you should do these kind of story, the busted up babyface, that kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The only thing I would say is, obviously we're now at the fallout of Raw. This should have been a blow-off. Yes, so my next
bullet point here is, hopefully this is the end of the feud, but probably not according to Raw. One more match, I do believe. Which kind of, well, if you read certain sheets and certain people saying what booking things are coming up, because Brock is now done until, well, I think Brock's got an appearance or two in October, but I don't think he's back until Survivor Series. Maybe, yeah.
Doesn't surprise me.
And there's talk that it's probably Finn Balor against Brock next.
I really hope not.
Yeah.
Just for Finn's sake, I think Finn is safer than getting fed to Brock.
So I think it's TLC with another match with Balor and Bray. Is TLC the next one for Raw?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, so I think that's what will happen there.
Because they've brought back Starcade for December.
But that's just the house show in.
Oh, is it? I thought it was an actual...
it's just they're doing the Coliseum, which is where I think, bloody hell, I don't know if this is right. The first Starcade was at the Coliseum.
That does make more sense because I wouldn't put the Rock and Roll Express or the Bedtime Express, as W called them, on the pay-per-view in 2017.
No, I don't know. Apparently there's no indication that it's going to be even on the network, so I don't know. But we'll see.
What a weird waste of a license. But yeah, no, it's TLC next, so I have no idea what's in December then. So
yeah. So yeah, is there anything to add to this match?
No, nothing. That's all. I really like this match. I did like the previous one. Thumbs up for me for this one. It was a good match.
Yeah, I thought it was good.
A great match, I'd say.
Right, so this was followed by another Asuka promo for TLC.
Asuka. Oh God, my inner weebu's screaming.
Asuka, okay, fuck.
Asuka.
Well,
the SU's not pronounced because Japan.
Well, fuck you, Japan.
It's like Shinsuke Nakamura.
Good night, Springdon. There'll be no encore. I don't know why I said that.
Damn fucking weeaboos.
Right, Asuka to debut at TLC. Then we had Sheamus and Cesaro doing a promo.
Enjoy that smile, Cesaro.
Sheamus has got a Liverpool badge on his jacket. What is it with these jackets? What is this fucking thing?
It's because they're the bar, and they've obviously thought, all these kids, all these cool kids dress up as grungers with their patch jackets, and thought, we want some of that.
Is it? Are they called the bar just because of the phrase raising the bar?
Yes.
That is the most dreadful tag team name I think I've ever heard.
Well, it's either that or Sheamus and Cesaro, and they're like, we can't market that, it's too long on a t-shirt. Call them the bar.
What's wrong with calling them Shazaramus?
They do the fusion. Come on, you've not seen the memes where they've actually fused the pair of them. They do the fusion.
I know they do, yeah.
Fusion to Cesaro. It's very hard to boo a team that obviously like Dragon Ball Z.
Well, very much so. So yeah, they did a promo, and then that led to the next match, which was Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins against Cesaro and Sheamus, also known as The Bear, for I thought I was Irish still. For the Raw, not Rare, Tag Team Championships. This was good. This was very good, I thought.
That's
yeah, it was fucking brilliant. I think these two teams could probably face each other on every single pay-per-view, and it probably wouldn't get too boring.
I think this was definitely match of the night. Again, it's the tag teams saving a pay-per-view. It
was probably match of the night, yeah. What do you think of Seth's newer theme with the added to it?
It's the exact same theme, except Vince realised there's a pause between the choruses, and he was like, I'm not having that, even though he's had the same theme for about 2 years.
I really like it, the new version.
Do you? It's exactly the same fucking song.
But I just like the addition of it, because he comes out to it just as they do that now.
But to make it even weirder, there's still pauses during the song, and they don't but
it's not to do with that. It's to do with that. That's what the tagline for WWE 2K18 is, and he's on the cover. And the
bloody tagline is "Be like no one."
No, that's the new one. But when they did the promos for it, when he actually burnt down the museum, it was "Burn It Down." Yeah.
Oh yeah. Sorry. Yeah. No.
Yeah. Go on. You run us through this one.
Okay. We cut to an awkward bit at the start where Cole tries to throw to all the foreign announcers and it doesn't work.
Did you
that's got to be a bunch
Did you see who was sitting on the front row behind the foreign commentators?
No, who is it?
It was the cast of Glow. including
Really?
Alison Brie. She was there.
Oh God.
I like Alison Brie. She's a good girl. But yeah, so the Cost of Glow were there. And is it normal when the main commentators are up on the ramp, or does that usually just mean that all of the tables are definitely getting smashed up?
It is for Raw. It's one of their weird
Raw,
things,
yeah.
like what they used to do. Raw. They're always near the ramp.
Okay.
SmackDown's always at the thing. It's what they did in the original brand.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Let's go with this. The Bar with the early advantage. Cesaro again shows why he's fantastic with a swing on Dean into the steps.
Yeah, that was good.
Dean sells an injury on the arm. Cesaro ignores the ref and goes for a pin. Once Dean rises to his feet, Cesaro nails a kick to the face. There's quick tags for the Bar. Dean is face in peril, and Seth will be working for the hot tag. Here we go. This is the spot. Attempted neutralizer by Cesaro. Dean reverses for a catapult and gets the hot tag. Seth kills everyone, including a lovely blockbuster on Cesaro. Cesaro is heavily bleeding from the mouth from the turnbuckle spot, catching everyone by surprise, including the crowd. And then we cut to a replay, and it's discovered that Cesaro, during the catapult, actually landed on the post and has... I initially thought he lost both of his teeth.
You could hear it,
the clunk.
You can hear it, and obviously Seth can hear it, because if you watch it back, right, watch the immediately after the spot happens and his teeth are fucked, look at Seth, because Seth knows he's like botched and he's fucked, and Seth is trying really hard not to laugh.
Yeah, it is comical. I mean, when they show it, when he's got his mouth wide open, I mean, everyone thought his teeth.
No, but have you actually heard about what he has done? What he actually did?
Yes. I mean, he's going to have his teeth replaced anyway, but it's much worse.
He didn't knock them out. He jammed them up into his gums.
Fucking hell! Just fuck's sake! And then you realise he's got to do another match. He's got to do the match for 10 minutes.
Yeah, this happened like 5 minutes in, and the match went nearly 16 minutes.
Absolutely ridiculous. I mean, is Cesaro one of the toughest men in wrestling? I know he's got the Swiss cyborg.
I personally think that not only is he one of the toughest, I think he's also one of the strongest, and I think he's possibly, pound for pound, one of the best that the WWE have got in their roster. Honestly, I do.
This was a world title worthy performance after that, because the crowd is absolutely like they're so shocked because it cuts to him. Cuts to him with all the blood pouring out of his mouth. And I was like, fucking hell, really hit that bad? And then you see, like, his teeth are actually jammed up.
Yeah, then even afterwards...
And then he has to wrestle.
Then even after, like, say 5 minutes after this, obviously the doctors come and wiped him down. He's got, like, kind of blood splodges all over his forehead and stuff. It just... Yeah, he was fucked. Imagine the pain.
It's amazing... fun fact, folks, I knocked a tooth out, but I was actually passed out when I knocked it out, and it can be extremely painful. But the idea of that your teeth being rammed into your jawline is just, that's 100 times worse. And then was
that the night you drank 3 cans of Carlsberg?
I'm a light drinker.
Yeah,
and my excuse was it was summer and I had a Chinese. So,
Chinese, 3 cans.
3 cans of beer later.
3 cans of very weak beer later, and you...
I only ruined one wedding, that's all.
Not your own, thank fuck.
Not my own. Let's continue through this. A double team by the Bar, an elevated uppercut for a 2. Cesaro gets thrown 8 feet to the outside. Did you see that? Where he gets flipped over the ropes. That was scary.
Excellent.
Ambrose gets the hot tag. He's still selling an injured arm from earlier. Cesaro locks on the shooter, and then transitions for a crossface, because when you've knocked your teeth out, the first thing you should do is go straight for the crippler crossface.
I've got here that the sharpshooter to crossface transition was lovely.
It was, but you shouldn't do it when you've just knocked your teeth out, because a certain other wrestler had his teeth missing. And
I think that's let's just say that's a coincidence.
I think it's a haunting.
I'm just going to point, there was a spot before this when they're all on the outside after, so Ambrose loves a tope. Ambrose does his tope. They're all on the floor, and he's leaning up against the barricade, and he's trying to kind of sell that his shoulder is out of its socket, so he starts jamming, he starts banging his... And I just put here that Dean's pretending to put his shoulder back into place. Brilliant. And then even Michael Cole's like, look at Ambrose trying to put his shoulder back in place. Oh my God. It's terrible, but also brilliant.
Surprise booking it. I was telling him, he ain't nothing wrong with him. Where am I up to? Ambrose with a rebound lariat. Ambrose has no one to tag to, but Cesaro gets the tag. Rollins tries to repeat the spot from SummerSlam, but Cesaro sees it. This is the one where he's on the top rope trying to do a Hurricanrana or Frankensteiner, but Cesaro blocks him. Sheamus hits the white noise on Ambrose, and Cesaro with a second rope super powerbomb on Seth to Ambrose.
I'd be honest with you. I think that if you're going to do a spot like that, that should end it. I just think, or there should have been. Obviously, you can't do it because you're using both wrestlers, but to kick out of that, I just thought was like, oh fuck, it didn't ruin it. I'm not suggesting that at all. I'm just saying it was such a great spot, such a really good spot that I think really they should have used it as a finisher or something in a later date or previously or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. It was very Chikara.
Yeah.
But this was a pay-per-view that also saw another spot in another match with similar circumstances. So maybe it was just one of the agents was like, hit a really big super move and the crowd won't expect the break.
Yeah.
But as you say, it doesn't bring logic because it was so well executed and the momentum of it, it should have been the climax.
Yeah.
And then we get to our ending, which is ending sees Ambrose collapse before a brogue kick. Sheamus gets rolled up but escapes at 2. Sheamus accidentally hits a brogue on Cesaro, knee on Sheamus, and the dirty deeds for the 3.
Yes. Awesome.
Excellent.
Both teams are awesome. I could watch them wrestle a lot longer than 15 minutes. I could watch them wrestle many more times. I think they might have another match in them, but who knows?
I hope so. I'd love to see them wrestle.
And
it was
fantastic. And I will simply say this again. Fucking push Cesaro. It doesn't matter that he's got a fucking accent and that he is obviously Swiss and that, you know what, he might not even be the greatest promo ever, but the geezer is an absolute machine. And I'm telling you what, right, I'm telling you now, imagine if you put Cesaro against Brock Lesnar in a big match, like you built up this match and you just said to them, right, go out there and do a fucking, just smash the shit out of each other. I honestly think Cesaro would not look out of place.
No, absolutely not.
Because he'd be able to lift him, he'd be able to work him, he'd be able to just, and also sell and bump.
Yeah, and he's proven that he can take hard hits. I mean, for fuck's sake, he jammed his teeth 5 minutes into this match. He's got blood pissing out of his mouth, and he literally had, he went for another 10 minutes. And this includes, the 8-foot spot where he jumps up so high and he ends up crashing to the outside.
Yeah, I rewatched.
The man is a machine, and it's absolutely pathetic that they're not pushing.
I rewatched his matches with Zayn, at NXT a few years ago. Oh, yeah. And you know what?
Yeah.
Obviously, he wasn't a huge star, but that was when they used to kind of bring the kind of mid-card guys onto NXT, and they'd have that, but they'd have that kind of big star feel to them because they were coming down.
Yeah, exactly. It was to show that
his matches,
you can get it.
Yeah, and his matches with Zayn, he had this fucking brilliant aura about him, I'm a big star, and obviously they were huge.
That was his gimmick though at the time. I mean, he still had a first name back then. I mean, now he's not descended because obviously the bar's still fantastic, but he's now in the tag team division.
Mm.
He just doesn't really get a chance to show off. I mean, he's still charismatic as fuck. I mean, their entrance is hilarious and stuff.
Yeah, I've got a note here actually. Isn't Cesaro's part of the entrance quite shit and redundant?
Is it the start?
He does the Bond
used to be the
thing.
James Bond bit.
But it's
but he's not in the suit.
Yeah.
It's just because they're lazy and they haven't created a combined theme for them. Like a proper combined theme.
Yeah, they just fade out and then fade in, don't they?
Yeah. They'd be better off just maybe starting with Sheamus's bit.
I like Sheamus's theme, actually.
Yeah, I do as well. And I like the... because they've modified it from his original entrance, because now they look like the... what's the Da Vinci painting?
Vitruvian Man?
Maybe. We've played enough Assassin's Creed, we should fucking know this.
It's the Vitruvian Man, yeah.
Is it right, there we go. It looks a bit like that.
It does, yeah.
It looks like that, man. Yeah, no, this was a fantastic... This was
Match of the Night, I agree. Cool. We move on to the Women's Championship match. Alexa Bliss puts it all on the line in a mathematically impossible match, as pointed out by our commentary team, against Bayley, Booley, shall we say, Sasha Banks, who was really quite just pointless in this match. She hardly involved, really.
I think she's there just to get some of the other Smarks who love her, to maybe tune in, but maybe for Vince to be like, maybe this time she won't botch.
Yeah. Emma, who has managed to, I don't know if it's because of her social media or just because she is, I don't know, maybe they're not completely burying her, but she's got herself involved. And Nia Jax, who I think was the absolute shining star, the really good performer of this match.
Yeah, this was. It's kind of funny that we've gone from the 5-way Universal title match. Was it? No, it was 4. Sorry, I'm being dumb.
That was a fatal 4-way,
and then we've gone to a fatal 5-way. So again, a multi-person match, and the match is basically over the biggest star or biggest physical star in this match, which in this case is Nia. What did you think of Nia previously?
I don't know. She's all right. She's obviously big, and I obviously like her eyes because her entrance now is she does the the suspicious dog from the Simpsons. Because every time she does her entrance, they just zoom in on her eyes, and she looks around. Really odd. Yeah, I like her. I think she's doing quite well. I've got written here that so obviously Bayley got booed because they fucked her up so bad.
She is Cena.
Well, she's not Cena. She's never been able to be booked strong enough that she gets booed.
That's absolutely right. I take it back. She's nothing like Cena.
I've got down here. I assume there's going to be a spot soon that gets rid of Nia from the match so that she could have a couple minutes away from the match so the others can be involved and she doesn't dominate. They usually do that. She hits that double Samoa drop she did. That was really cool. That
was a good way to show how strong she is.
And there's the spot. Three of them managed to powerbomb Nia off of the apron, and she absolutely waffles her head on the back of her head on the floor.
I've said it's like Gary's mod, like she's like stamping out the bloody Source Engine NPC. Her knee nearly smashes into her face.
It does. Her knee hits her face, and she when they I don't know if it's a sign of a good powerbomb or a bad powerbomb, but when they really fold them up. Yeah. I think it's because if you hit them too high up on their back or their head, I don't think you're supposed to. You're supposed to hit them quite not low on the back, obviously, but you've got to get like a decent flat bump.
Yeah.
And if you hit them too far up on their upper body, then they fold over, and I don't think that's good for you.
No, because you land on
she folds over and knees herself right in the fucking nose.
It's like you land on the base of your neck, and then obviously the momentum of your legs means it's going to try. Your legs are going to try and go over your head, but obviously you can't because you're in a resting position. So she literally goes top of half of her back, but her knees literally just nearly collide. Well, they do collide into her face.
It was so bad. When they did the slow motion, it was like fuck, and I just thought, like any dickhead that goes, "Oh, you like wrestling? Isn't it fake?" And I just think, fucking show him a slow motion of her of that bump, and he'd just be like, "Yeah, all right."
Just quote Goldberg. It's not fake. It is fake, but it's also it's not fake. It's predetermined. There you go. Bad paraphrasing.
Oh yeah, but,
bad paraphrasing.
Yeah. Then other people got some moves in. Nia came back a few minutes later. I think Emma got quite a decent little run of a few minutes where she was hitting decent little spots and stuff. And,
there was a bit as well where Sasha hit some offence on Emma, but there was no reaction whatsoever.
Yeah.
Well,
that's what happens when you just give her the title, take it away, give it, take it away. It just, damn it, it's just shit.
I don't think she did any favours with her interview saying, I don't know why they trust me. And it's like, fuck, don't shit on the company. This is why Cesaro doesn't get pushed.
Also, didn't she do an interview where she said she really doesn't like fans and that they're all stalkers?
Yes. No. Oh God, do we have to get into this?
No. But that's what she. I'm paraphrasing slightly, but that was the gist of what she said.
She said something about airport, but anyway, that's besides the point.
Yeah.
Bottom line, don't get wrestlers' autographs unless you're paying for them.
Probably, yeah, or not. Just don't do it in an airport. That's the worst place in the world.
Do it at a British indie show. They tend to be quite polite about it. Then.
Yeah, go and buy a T-shirt from Matt Riddle at a British indie show and hug him and give him a high five and just fall in love with him.
Yeah, take him out to dinner. Cheeky Nando's.
Well, that's the next step. Right, so Nia entered the ring again, and she doesn't mind taking a bump, does she? Because she went for a charge, missed, got thrown into, or she threw herself into the ring post,
Yeah,
then bumped to the outside again. She seemed game. And yeah, so Bliss got the win with her DDT on Bayley. I'll be honest, I very much enjoyed this match.
I did as well. I put a pretty good match, lots of double spots and action, and all the women got a chance to shine, and Nia looked particularly strong.
I said I think Nia Jax is very fun to watch.
I think she's good. I think she just needs a little bit more work, but given time, she'll be something. And the other thing as well...
She's definitely going to win the belt soon, I think.
Oh, absolutely. And the other thing as well is, at least it's not to bring the whole politically correct argument, but it's nice to see a woman with a different shape in that organisation where they've all been like fucking sports models and stuff.
Well, I agree with your positive body image.
I know. It's just we got trolls and shit.
Well, I also think that, you know, if you build her up as like the monster of the vision, then that's who, you know, Asuka goes after, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they've already had a match previously, so...
There you go. But on the main roster... Well, was that in NXT?
It was in NXT.
Remember, NXT and main roster, NXT doesn't count.
Unless it's in their promo packages, in which case it does count.
Yes.
There was another after-match promo as well for this. Obviously, someone was booking this and had a like fetish and needs to get him out of the system. Alexa's not out of breath.
No, I suppose you do get breather spots though, right?
I know, but you've still wrestled How long was this match?
9 minutes, 40 seconds.
Well, not that long, I suppose, but still, it's fucking exhausting being a wrestler.
It is exhausting.
That's why we don't do it.
Exactly why we don't do it. I played a game of five-a-side on the weekend just gone, slightly hungover, sure, but after 5 minutes I thought my lungs were going to collapse. I could not be a wrestler.
That and we're old.
Yeah, yeah.
We're getting old.
Well, 30 isn't old. Chill out.
Speaking of old, guess how...
DDP didn't start until he was about 30.
He makes everyone look bad, but I was going to get to the point. Speaking of old, how old is John Cena?
40, yeah.
It's time for...
But doesn't he look old?
It's because he's got TV age. He's been on fucking television for years. And that
but don't you notice that his hair is a bit thinner as well? Yeah, he's just starting to look old.
Yeah, well, he is 40. And he has been wrestling for 20... How long?
15.
Is it 15? Well, only on the main roster. It doesn't include OV-Dub. Or would that include... No, it is OV-Dub as well, because he was around 2000.
OVW.
Yeah, that's it.
EC Dub, not OV Dub.
Dub-E. Dub-C Dub.
Christ, that is such a marquee thing to do.
Anyway.
Okay, so you've led us into it. The next match, another WrestleMania caliber main event.
If you've drank at this point a shot every time you were officially listening to this beyond this realm of existence.
True.
Fucking went on about it. Anyway.
So Roman Reigns against John Cena.
John o'clock for big match John.
Yeah, the opening promo for this, the video package for this was very good because, I'll be honest, I haven't watched an awful lot of Raw recently, so having all of the barbs that they chucked at each other, you know, in a nice neat package was very fun, and I thought they kind of blurred the lines between shoot and a work, you know, they worked themselves into a shoot, probably, brother. So...
I'm sure it was pre-approved. There's no way they're going to fucking let...
well, obviously, apparently, yeah. But, well, on a few occasions, he fucking did destroy him.
That's only because Roman... To be honest, John Cena is John Cena. He's like one of the best fucking promos ever. That's why he had the belt so many fucking times. Whereas Roman, to be fair, is not as good. But his whole character is he doesn't have to say a lot. His actions speak louder.
Yeah. So, Cena comes out. Very goofy. He's been very goofy in his old age.
How many times on the trot has this been though? He comes out for matches and he's like, you know, I don't
know. Notice the circumstances when he's not fussed, in that he was curtain jerking when he was goofing up against Baron, and he obviously knew that it was just a quick, you know, burial maybe. Spoiler alert, he loses this match, so... And he's about to leave for maybe 6 weeks to 2 months, so he's probably thinking, well, I don't really care. I've actually said here that is Cena goofing a bit of a sign that, you know, he's definitely not going to win, or that he's not really into it?
It's very Hulk Hogan of him.
Yeah, or also there is an argument that he oversold in this match, which is very HBK of him. but I didn't personally think he oversold. I thought that the booking of the match early on, when it was like Roman basically just beating the shit out of him, was just a bit, wasn't very competitive for the start.
I don't think he oversold in this match.
No, I agree. So he hits the ring, does his stuff. The delay in Reigns' music hitting was quite a while, which actually allowed Cena to goof on a little bit more.
I think that was for production to make sure they could mute the crowd in time.
Well, they didn't mute it that much because the boos were still quite large.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Although they're both, like chant, they both suck.
Yeah. As Roman entered the ring, Michael Cole came out with a classic doozy of, is it Roman Reigns' time to rule WWE? Which my answer is, no, Michael. Currently,
You're right, sorry.
The current rulers of WWE are technically Brock Lesnar and Jinder Mahal, who are currently the world champions, you idiot. Shit like that really winds me up. Because again, that's very Hogan-y. Remember if Hogan didn't have the belt back in the early 90s, Hogan was still the main, like WrestleMania 8, for example.
Yes, no, exactly.
Sid Justice and Hulk Hogan main eventing over Flair against Macho.
Fuck Flair, fuck Macho.
Anyway, shit like that. Cena's goofing, dead giveaway. He's probably about to job. Very one-sided start. Lots of selling by Cena, but I agree with you. I don't think it was overselling. Shoulder tackle spot for his comeback, but the first one he did when he hits a shoulder tackle, gets up, goes for the second one, and Reigns just punches him in the air. Yes. That was really cool.
Yeah, that was cool. Yeah.
Did you notice that there's no JBL, obviously? So Michael Cole is now the person who has to say Big Match John
God, yes.
But obviously it's not Big Match John, MAGA. It's Big Match John. Just every now and then, it hasn't got the same ring to it.
Also, I believe that John Cena is the greatest of all time. Really?
Yeah,
really?
Probably not, mate. But
world titles. I mean, he's joint top with Flair. But
to WWE's narrative of world championship reigns, he's joint top. In the real world, Flair has got something like 20 something in the real world. But anyway, that doesn't matter.
No.
We had our first AA, which was a very close 2 count. He went for Cena goes for his leg drop, and he got power bombed, which again thought was a really good spot. The first Superman punch, and then I just have a note here going, "Oh, here we go." Because usually it's like Pringles with that. Once he fucking pops a fucking Superman punch, tend to get a lot more.
Yes, that's another. But this harkers back to bloody him and Brock at WrestleMania.
Oh my god, he hits him with about 20 in that match.
I know. Back in then, it was like maybe he only knows 3 moves. It's like powerbomb, Superman punch, spear. But Roman has come a long way since then. But it's like fucking hell's bells. It's like he still has this problem where he just hits the same maneuvers over and over again.
Yeah. Avalanche attitude adjustment for another 2.
Is that the name of it?
Well,
that makes more sense. I've just put Super AA, but Triple A sounds much better.
I'm pretty sure if you do it, I've heard someone call it an Avalanche AA. I always think that sounds quite good.
That sounds much better than mine. I mean, Super AA just sounds fucking cartoonish, which is probably what the WWE would have.
Yeah. So that goes for number 2, and the crowd chant one more time, and you can see him smile, and then he goes, "No, I can't do that. That's not that. Doc Hendricks hasn't told me to do that." So
stick to the script.
He goes and sets up the announcer table. What is the one rule of setting up a weapon setting up a spot? If you set it up, you're going through it, and he did.
This is me saying TV match every episode, and now it's like wrestling logic.
Yeah, so he ends up getting speared. Did you notice that as Roman speared him, he almost necks himself?
Yes, on the replay. It didn't look too bad on the initial one, but when you look at it, like, oh god, he nearly turns himself inside out. But I think he nearly spares himself. He puts his hand in front of his head. Meltzer
says that apparently every time he does the spear, he has his arm in a position where he protects his head. So yeah,
well that's how Edge fucked himself, didn't he?
Oh, what? Is that the spear is the actual reason why his neck was fucked?
I mean, he had long-standing injuries, but it was the final one on a SmackDown against... It might have been Brodus Clay.
Oh, God. That's a way to go.
He did it, and then he obviously had the match against Del Rio at WrestleMania, and they were still waiting for the results, and they were like, "You're done, man. You're fucked."
Yeah. So Roman spears him through a table. And then, this is where So up until this point, he'd kicked out of one AA, he kicked out of an Avalanche AA.
Yep.
And then I was kind of... This is the part when I really... I mean, this is when I didn't like... This is where it killed it. This match was dead for me. So he hits the AA and then roll through AA that took down AJ at Royal Rumble for another 2. I mean, this is 4 AAs now.
I was going to say, had there have been a gap between the final AA and a pinfall, like, maybe...
A tired Cena.
Yeah, like, literally, he's, like, exhausted himself. He, like, collapses, and then he, like, crawls over and pins him. I'd have no problem with it. But the fact that it's instantaneous, it's stupid. It goes beyond parody at that point. We know Roman's strong, but he doesn't have to be... He's not that strong.
But 4... So this is 4 AAs now.
Yep.
Including... So 1 normal one, then a second rope one, and then 2 in the space of, like... 5 seconds.
But it's like the case of he's hit his super move, then he's hit his ultra move, and then he's at the variation of the ultra move, and it still can't point him down.
Yeah.
It's just fucking stupid.
But then my main... So obviously Superman booking in this, and, we've seen Cena has been booked in the position of Roman Reigns.
Yeah, exactly.
Hulk Hogan has been booked in the... people do it. This is what happens with these kind of characters in this booking. But the thing that really got me, and I think really ruined this match, because I thought this match was really good, apart from the last couple minutes, is that after he kicks out of the 4th AA, the actual... From that point until his Superman punch, spear, and winning count isn't actually that long.
No, it's not. He's if I remember, he's in shock, doesn't know what to do, and then all of a sudden it's like, bam, bam, 3. That's it.
I just thought it was really... poorly. I think the finish was really poorly done.
Yeah, it didn't make sense because it's like he literally hits his moves out of nowhere and they're good enough. Whereas he could have done at least some offense and maybe set it up, but it was just quickly out of nowhere.
I'm just not a fan of him kicking out of technically 4 AAs, and Roman hit 2 spears technically, but one of them was through the announce table, so it's not a pinning opportunity. But he hits 1 main spear in the ring and he gets a 3 count straight away. It's kind of like, the whole, Joe shouldn't have lost to 1 F5. And, same can be said about Braun later on in the other match. But this is just a bit... I think this is a bit much.
If I know better, or I don't know any better, I'd say that they're setting up for WrestleMania where it's going to be 1 F5 versus 1 spear. It's all it takes.
That'd be interesting. That doesn't... That you realise that if that is the case, then we're going to see an awful lot of suplexes.
Yeah,
and an awful lot of Superman punches.
Oh yeah, I'm not looking forward to
good.
that. We'll get to Brock's match, but what did you think of this match overall?
I thought overall it was very, very good, and I think that the finish tainted the match.
I thought the first half was incredibly slow to the point.
Yeah, it was.
The crowd felt the same because they chanted boring.
Which I did think built, like the early stages of the match then built to a really good middle and kind of sort of ending. I think the build to the finish, all the build up to the finish was good. The actual finish itself was poor.
Yeah, exactly that.
I actually thought it was good. I have a little game for you, actually. So, after the match, John Cena raises Roman Reigns' arm.
Oh, yeah.
Can you tell me which other WWE superstars have raised... it's sort of a trick question in a way. Well, actually, not a trick question. Who has gone out of their way after a match to put Roman over?
Obviously, there's Rock.
1.
Daniel Bryan.
2. See, that's what I mean. He didn't raise...
I need to go on.
Daniel Bryan didn't raise his arm. He shook his hand and then repeatedly shouted, "You gotta beat Brock." So, yep.
Obviously Cena.
Oh,
God. Is there more? Actually, hold on.
I put Taker on the list.
Oh, did he?
I think the way Taker puts him over and the way he made himself look whilst losing to Roman was very much putting him over. And also, he fucking retired him in the whole glove thing. I think, I lost, so therefore I'm going to retire. That's a very big putting over after a match. Anyway, that's my list. If anyone can think of any more, you can email us at smarkswithoutattitude@gmail.com.
It was because as well. There's the parallels between this storyline and the Rock and Cena from years ago. Exactly the same thing. Rock batters Cena in promos. He gets really aggressive because he can. Cena gets aggressive on promos because he can. And at the end of the storyline, the new guy wins, gets his hand raised, and it's like, I'll think nothing of it. And then the following night on Raw, it's like, yes, his interview with The Miz, which is preluded to after this match. And it's like, about John Cena, it's like, I respect John though. It's like, fucking hell, you just had a killer match with him, and you spent the last 4 weeks basically murdering each other on the mic, and now you're best mates.
Yeah,
it's like boxing, except whereas in boxing it's kind of like they do it because they want a rematch, or they just it's the sportsmanship side of it.
Tend to hate each other to earn more money.
Yeah, it's that. I mean, as Futurama says, I thought wrestling was real, but it's fixed like boxing.
I've got a different colour passport to you.
That's pretty much SmackDown's booking.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, it is SmackDown's booking. Yeah, so Cena's clearly probably off to film a movie. Says he was doing his sad. Oh, is he in that?
He's in Bumblebee. Yeah.
He's also been cast in a buddy cop movie with the Asian guy who what's his name? He just did The Big Sick. You seen that? That's a good movie. Actually, you should watch that. I can't remember his name. He plays one of the nerdy guys in Silicon Valley. I can't remember his name.
Is it S? Oh God, I can't.
No, not Aziz Ansari. Oh, yeah.
I can't.
But anyway, so Cena's off to film something. He's probably back Rumble season, but he always does this. He makes it look as though he's near retirement, but obviously he'll be back.
I don't fall for it because he did the exact same shit with was it AJ? We put his bands in the ring.
Yeah,
it's in the Father John Misty video if I remember.
Ooh.
Yeah, it is. That was right. Comedy. Anyway, match of the night, folks. Coming up next.
Oh, I don't even want to dwell on this too much. Neville, Pride of England, against Enzo Amore, Pride of fucking nothing, Cruiserweight title. So who is Vic Joseph?
I don't know. Who is Vic Joseph?
I don't know. They mentioned something about Vic Joseph, and I'm just like, who the fuck's that? Anyway.
I'd know who Enzo dressed up as, because Corey stole it from me as well.
Beetlejuice.
Fuck's sake. I thought we had to say his name 3 times, and then he becomes a prick. But
I fucking despise Enzo's promos now. I just despise them. It's bullshit. I fucking hate it.
Oh, God.
He then proceeded to get beaten up for the match.
How long was this match?
10 minutes 40.
Okay, so he gets beaten up for 9 minutes and 55 seconds. He
hits a really great, off the top rope DDT thing. Is it the DDG?
Yes, I have no idea. It was good, though.
It's called the DDG, and it was fucking excellent, actually.
It was good.
But that was his... Well, he hit 2 moves. He hit that, and then he hit a low blow. And my notes here are, what the fuck did I just watch? This is appalling nonsense. Might as well wrap up the whole fucking division now.
I've put that. Good night, 205 Live.
There will be no encore.
There will be no encore. I can imagine Vince going, they're all fired.
Well, I think the idea is that Enzo supposedly sells merch and supposedly is liked.
Who is buying his fucking stuff?
I'm assuming people from New Jersey.
Reveal yourself.
That's his gimmick, right? He's like a New Yorker Jersey cunt. But yeah.
That and cheating on Liv Morgan.
Oh, yeah.
What a gimmick.
Enzo's loss could very well be Tyler Bates' gain.
Go on, Tyler.
Mate! Every time they do their little tweeting things, where it's like, "I like your face. I like your face. I like your t-shirt. I like your t-shirt. I like your forklift." I'm like thinking, "Oh, please, God, I'd do it for us."
Fuck already.
Do it for us. We're all.
It works like proper, but
we're all with you, Tyler. Go for it, boy. Anyway. Yeah. So. Yeah.
How shit was this match?
It was very shit. And
it was disappointing. It was
Enzo Amore, possibly the worst wrestler on the whole roster.
This is like
including the women, is a champion.
Oh God. I don't understand the purpose of this other than to say, fuck your division, it's going to bed. We're not
Yeah, I'm hoping this actually means that Neville will go up to will stop being on 205 Live.
Oh, I'd love that. There's so many guys on that roster that I think they are now limited because they're stuck on this piece of shit show, and they deserve to be moved up. And he is like at the forefront. It's fucking ridiculous that he's now relegated to 205 Live.
He could so easily be like IC title level, and maybe he will be sometime soon. Who knows? But I don't even really want to go into much more of this. This was just bollocks.
It's a 10-minute squash where Enzo does his best Eddie Guerrero impression at the end, somehow wins the title cheating, and everyone is just really fucked off. And this is going to lead to a fucking program there where Enzo's going to have this belt for fucking forever, getting over everyone through cheating shenanigans. Oh god!
I think that is probably the plan. I think that he's going to chicken shit his way to a lengthy reign.
This is not the way to do this on this show. 205 Live has been, at the most, been the Neville show, and everything around it is just, all right. Really what should happen is that entire division should be just integrated entirely into Raw, and then they should just scrap the show. But now we're going to have months on end of just Enzo coming out, cuts a 20-minute promo where he calls everyone fat like Grand Metalik, and it's like, are you fucking insane?
Never mind, Grand Metalik is an absolute worldie of a wrestler, and he's completely and utterly wasted. Seriously,
he's fat.
He's fat. There were people.
He's 206 pounds. He's fat.
There were people that thought that Ibushi and Zack Sabre Jr. not signing to this division was like, oh, they're going to regret that. Are you fucking kidding me?
Jesus Christ. Zack Sabre is now basically nearly jobbing out fucking Tanahashi.
Yeah, twice he did, until we lost.
He gets his lovely royalty money pretending to be Tiger Mask W and then lighting fireworks in Leighton.
Bethnal
Green, sorry. And doing great matches. No, I think I was one of those people who were like, oh, they're going to regret that. But no, they dodged the fucking cannonball.
Yeah, they did. So, right, Enzo's the new champion. Enough of that. And
then move on to our main event.
Yeah, so we move on to our main event, MAGA. Brock Lesnar, the Beast, against Braun Strowman, the Monster, for the Universal title in a match that they kept telling me that Brock was the underdog, and I kept saying, stop saying that, because he wasn't.
Yes, what is he, the 4-time or 5-time world champion?
4 or 5.
Who beat Goldberg, who defeated The Undertaker's WrestleMania streak. He's the underdog against the guy who's never won a world title.
Not to mention he's a shoot fighter world champion as well.
Oh,
he's a UFC world champion.
Heavyweight champion, former NCAA All-American, all that shit.
Yeah, he's
the underdog.
He was the IWGP champion as well.
Oh, yeah. Underdog
against the guy who, they even had it down on the tail of the tape. Championships won, 0.
Although he does have a 99-pound weight advantage, so...
True.
It's not like Brock's ever beaten anyone who weighs more than him.
True. Right, so, Harry, run down this 9 minutes for me.
Let's do it. As much as I want Braun to win, it ain't happening, folks. No. Quick, we get moved. Braun hits a power slam for a 2. Braun gets cut underneath his eye. Braun's in charge, though. Gets a Strowman chant. F5 attempt, but Lesnar can't carry him. Gets barged out the ring. Kimura lock, which looked fucking weird.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost as if this wasn't part of the match. Lesnar gets slung in the corner. This is slower than Brock's previous matches, but it's okay. Braun gets to the bottom rope, then a spine buster for a 2. Brock then hits German suplex 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6 in succession. He then goes for another F5, which is reversed into a power slam, but Braun sells the arm and doesn't pin him. Hits a 3rd power slam for a 2. And this is a problem with all Brock's matches. There's so many fucking finishers. And then we get our finish. F5, 1, 2, 3, Brock retains. Good night, Springdom.
There will be no encore.
There will be no fucking encore.
Third time that gag's been put in. Okay, yeah.
Slow and average Lesnar match. Lesnar's continuing lazy habits combined with Strowman's slower style doesn't work.
Mm.
And I'm getting annoyed by Lesnar eating multiple finishes and delivering one F5 to win. So.
Yeah, there was a couple of good spots, I thought. The first suplex that Brock managed to get him on, Braun absolutely no-sold it with a whoop kind of...
Yeah, same, yeah.
And then choke slammed him and then did the running power slam. I thought that was a really good little spot.
Kept it a bridge,
I think, Braun got quite a bit of offense in, which was good.
He did, but the problem is he did so fucking much and it led to nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I've got here there's two things I want to say. All right, one, do you think, like you mentioned earlier, that all of this booking against Joe, against Braun, he won the 5-way, and he's probably going to squash Finn, I'd imagine, in some way, or maybe they'll have two. It'll be the Cena. First one's a squash, second one is a bit more of a hearty display. But anyway, it's going to build it up to the point where Brock's unbeatable, and Roman's going to beat him. Therefore, Roman is going to get an even bigger build to his second or third WrestleMania moment, whatever it is. And is all of this booking just for the benefit of Roman? And
of course it is.
Of course, yeah. And my second thing I was going to mention was, how would you... Like, Brock's going to win, right? But how would you have booked it differently?
This match in particular?
Yes.
Similar to the Fatal 4-way, have it no disqualification, have Braun really try and go over it, have some sort of fucking shenanigans, like, I don't know, introduce, like Heyman introduces someone to like his group like he did in 2013 or something. Like,
yeah.
It was a shock. There's no... The problem is, I know I've just said a second ago, like, Brock eats so many finishes, and then it's like counterproductive to say, well, he eats now fucking tables and weapon spots as well. But this match, this whole booking just doesn't work. And this was what I was dreading about Lesnar's title reign, because the moment he won that Universal title, and it's like, well, the grand plan is still him and Reigns next year at WrestleMania. It's like, he's going to fucking eat everything in front of him. And that's not his fault, because that's the booking. But the matches are just getting now even like they're lazy as fuck.
Right, that brings me to a point I want to make, in that this match actually built up quite a big... There was a lot of build, and there was quite a lot of excitement for it. Like the way Strowman's been booked, and the way he was in on Raw before SummerSlam, he's been really quite fun to watch. I think the stuff with him and Roman was quite good at building the character. You know, he kind of sort of no-sold nearly dying in that ambulance, which was really big for his character. This match was built to be like this really big, massive, like Godzilla against fucking Ghidorah or whatever fucking match, right? And I get the feeling that the booking, they didn't reflect that in the booking of the match.
No, they didn't.
So they built this match up, and then it feels as though it was booked like 2 months ago, and then they didn't take into account the character development of Braun more than Brock, obviously. There's no development to Brock's character, there never will be.
No.
It doesn't need to. But yeah, it didn't reflect that, and I think that they could have maybe done this match with Braun not going over, but maybe being a lot stronger. I don't know how. I mean, it probably would have been a case of maybe more than one F5 would have been beneficial to him. I think you could have even done a spot where, you know, maybe they beat the shit out of each other for 10 minutes, and then, you know, like you said, maybe Brock gets like he gets the Kimura on in dodgy circumstances, or he kind of gets it in a position where Braun either taps out or he gets really injured, and he gets really injured, you know, and you know, it's kind of like, oh, Braun lost, but he didn't quit to the Kimura. He's the first person not to quit to the Kimura or something like that, you know.
Oh, well, like the Austin thing where he passes out.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's a bit different, but yeah, I think that something like that was achievable, but they didn't do that. They just did it 1F5, one and done. There's no, I mean, again, same with Joe. He doesn't have a claim to a rematch now, does he? At all?
No, he doesn't. No.
And so that's clearly the plan. Again, I thought this was good. I thought it was okay and good. I didn't think it was great. I think probably better than the Joe match, though I don't really... What do you think? Better than the Joe match, or...?
No, I think because the Joe match at least had the schmoz at the start.
Yeah.
Because that had the entertainment value. The moment, at least with that as well, I thought, you know, maybe, just maybe, because it was at the start of the story, maybe it's like, maybe they'll give Joe a run.
Yeah.
Whereas there, it's like, it's foregone conclusion. It's like, he's not going to fucking lose. This was probably his best opportunity, because, you know, Strowman could have done with a world title now. He's, you know, he's hot as fuck, or he was. But this just feels like, excuse me, we're resetting all the good work we did at SummerSlam. Fuck it. Back to square one. Having beat up all the midgets.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
And this just felt like typical lazy Lesnar match. I mean, Dean, it cost him his world title by basically pointing out that when Lesnar doesn't feel like it, he doesn't feel like it, and there's nothing you can fucking do about it. This felt like
that all comes from their street fight. And Dean's like, we should do tax, we should do this, we should do that, we should waffle the shit out of each other, and Lesnar just said, no. I'm going to F5 you on a pile of chairs and you're going to take the free count.
Yeah, and I bet Dean was like, no, I'll go through tax and shit. You can set me on fire and stuff if you want to.
Isn't he a Tournament of Death winner? Or is he a... I don't think he won
he had that spot with the electric knife or whatever it was, and everyone was like, that's fucking real. He's like, of course it's not fucking real.
Wait, did he win the Tournament of Death in CCW, or did he just win the championship?
I don't know, man. You'd have to Google it.
Jimmy Havoc's the current Tournament of Death winner.
Yeah, and he thoroughly deserves it.
He's fucking awesome.
Go to WWE, Havoc. See how they sanitise you.
He did fight for... He was on the... Was it the Access show? Pre-Mania this year. So
was he calling everyone a cunt? You're a cunt.
Well, he's not really a heel anymore. He's kind of face.
No, because people love him. That's why.
He's awesome. He's awesome on Twitter as well.
I know. I follow him. He's fucking hilarious.
He calls people cunts all the time. I love it.
Yeah. Cunt, and he retweets models.
Yes.
Anyway, we're going on a tangent from this match.
Yeah, it was okay. It was probably not a great main event, really, and
no.
Yeah, the last three, the Cena Reigns match was good up until the finish, in my opinion, and then obviously the Enzo debacle, and then this being a bit of a flat main event meant that the event, the pay-per-view kind of had a flat ending, but overall, I thought it was good. Match of the night?
Oh, Jesus, tag team match.
Yes, piece of piss, that one.
Yeah, Jesus, this was... I know Meltzer's rated the tag team match and the Cena Reigns match is exactly the same.
4.25. I think 4.25 is very generous for Reigns and Cena, in my opinion. Yes. I thought that was a good 4. But yeah.
I would have said 3.75.
Yeah, a lot of people said that, yeah.
Well, that's one man's opinion, but tag team match is definitely match of the night. And obviously Cesaro's MVP.
Yeah, I was just going to say, who was the best performer of the evening?
Cesaro.
Push fucking Cesaro.
For fuck's sake, give him a world title. Just for that one, like, even if it's just for fucking a fortnight or something. Yeah.
And that was No Mercy.
That was No Mercy.
Oh, not bad. Not bad.
It was alright. It was just, again, bookended by... the Miz Jordan match was, and then you got the Enzo and then fucking Lesnar matches towards the end. So, but the middle bit's all like nice, gooey centre.
Yes, right. That was Smarks Without Attitude, episode 8. Thank you for listening. You can obviously listen to our stuff on iTunes if you search for Smarks Without Attitude. We're on SoundCloud at SoundCloud.com/Smarks Without Attitude. We're both on Twitter. You can get me at Reese_59, and you can get Harry at where, Harry?
It's Retcon_Nation.
An old project of ours that you've kept the handle for.
I have, yeah.
And we do have
reviews in ages.
we do have a Twitter account which is SWA_podcast, which is quite barren. We only use it just to post links out, really, and hashtag the fuck.
Check out our real Twitters; they're much more fun.
Yeah, they're much more actual Twitters. And so, yeah, and we do have a Gmail. I haven't checked it actually for ages, so if you have emailed, I'll check now. But yeah, smarkswithoutattitude@gmail.com. And yeah.
Send your questions, send your criticisms.
And your money.
We're ready to whore out to anyone.
Yes. So we're not actually. We're the complete opposite.
No,
we believe in doing this as a hobby, and we don't want to put enough effort. We don't ever want to put effort into it where we feel we have to. We actually
don't want to put effort into
we actually feel we have to put effort in because of responsibilities or whatever. None of that.
6 hours of editing later.
Yes. So thank you for listening. Thank you, Springdon. There'll be no encore. No, fuck that. Yeah. Thank you very much, and we'll be back soon. Toodaloo.
See you later, guys.